Hi everyone, I'm Elena Arsenchuk and I'm going to analyze how the acting is used in the clip from DeMille's film Joan the Woman. I'm actually choosing Joan the Woman for every assignment and it's kind of strange, but I get really interested in that film while making research for creative response, so... Well, I chose one of two clips from the film that we've watched, which is the scene of the trial. Now let me give you some context. Joan of Arc, after winning several battles, travels with a small party. Englishmen, her enemies, learn which exact road she chose and send Eric Trent, the Englishman who she befriended, healed, and fell in love with, to capture her. And although Trent loves her and doesn't want to do that, he has to obey. Eventually, he and his men capture her and she gets in the hands of George. So in the clip, we can see the trial itself. Chained and guarded, Joan walks in the room. She's accused of witchery, but she denies her guilt. The clip ends. Later, she will be tortured and burned at the stake. Well, now let's talk about the acting in this scene. There are several things I'd like to comment on. Firstly, I'd like to say a few words about Geraldine Farrar, who portrays Joan. She was an opera singer, and her previous films, especially DeMille's Carmen, made her pretty famous, so I suppose we can call her a star. And the choice of her to play Joan of Arc, although she was already 34 and Joan was supposed to be a young girl, was made partly to bring success to the picture, and I think this is an important detail about acting that worth being mentioned. Secondly, I'd like to comment on the style of acting that Farrar and other actors use. It is not realistic as in previous DeMille's films, but rather theatrical, which is a deliberate director's decision. Look at the gestures the actors use. They are very expressive, theatrical, emotional. People, well, usually, don't act like this in real life. For example, the judge or the accuser. Look at their arms, at their poses. Look at their facial expressions. You can see heightened emotions here, like anger, fury, or the delight and faith that Joan shows when talking about God. The pace is also important. Look how Joan enters the court. She walks very slowly, very theatrically, which highlights the mood of the scene. All of this is really important here because the film is silent and there are only a few title cards that inform the viewer about what's going on and what characters are talking about. So acting is crucial in creating meaning of the film and explaining the viewer what characters feel or think. And it is even more important in this particular scene because we see the trial and it is a very important point of the plot. There are pretty many words being said, pretty much actions happens, and all of that must be explained mostly through the acting. And I think that the decisions made about the acting and the acting itself are very good. It is a silent film and the actors make a great job in conveying the meaning without words, but by their faces, bodies, gestures. I mean, even if there weren't title cards in the scene, it would still be quite clear what the characters are talking about. The judge is angry, he's accusing Joan, and we can understand that. And Joan's actions and expressions show that she believes she's right and that her face is unwavering. So the acting conveys the meaning quite successfully. And I also actually like the style the actors use. It is the style that can be seen mostly in old films and there is something fascinating about it. It is not realistic and everything, and it's highly unlikely that we're going to see something like that in the modern films, but it is interesting to look at and it gives an opportunity to see how much the cinema and the acting have changed during this century. And I actually love old films, so watching something like that makes me feel nostalgia. Well, I think I get a little bit carried away expressing my opinion, but there are a few more things I'd like to say about acting, or rather how the other tools of filmmaking lead our eyes to actors and highlight what they do. For example, there are some medium shots that help us see the actors better, like this, and actually even in the long shots we can see main characters' facial expressions pretty clearly. Also, there is an interesting use of light here. When Joan is talking about God, the light focuses on her, which in terms of creating symbolism and meaning makes her look like a saint, and in terms of acting makes the audience focus on Geraldine Farrar and highlights what she does. And I think it is also a good idea. I like that. Well, things like my 5 minutes are almost up, but that's all I wanted to say, so thanks for your attention.